Hey, what's up, guys? It's Corey here with Dapper Dollars, and today we're going to talk about Dropbox stock and whether or not this thing is going to actually do something or if it's just going to stay the same price for the rest of its life. You ready? Let's get started. So, you might notice that I'm in a little bit of a different environment today. This is where I work. You probably saw this in one episode before where I was talking about Amazon advertising and things like that. But this is where I work, and today I had to shoot a video from this location, so we're just gonna roll with the punches. You ready? Let's get started. So this channel is all about using the online income sources we have from Merch by Amazon, Etsy, Redbubble, and things like that to build our financial freedom through online income sources like that, invested in the stock market, real estate, and those sorts of places, and eventually gain financial freedom. If that sounds like something you're interested in, like and subscribe, and let's get started. So, what is Dropbox doing, and is it going to actually do anything in the future? Well, I think it's going to do amazing things in the future, and for one reason, I'm completely sold on this company, and I will likely be holding until eternity for this company. But we're going to talk about that a little later. First, let's talk about what Dropbox is and a little bit of the history behind Dropbox, where it started and where it is now. Now, Dropbox was mainly known as being a cloud storage company in the past, around 2010, 2012 or so. They really got started and they were building their company, and they were mainly known for being a basically file transfer site. Like, it was a place where you could store files online and not have to have everything in your hard drive, and they were an online storage company transferred. And now they're building out more of a online workstation. So they've introduced the Dropbox teams and Dropbox spaces and things like that are integrated with companies like Adobe, Slack, all of the socials and things like that. So people are able to integrate their teams into this. They're creating a workspace for people to integrate their teams into. So not only can you store your files, but you can invite people to collaborate with you and work within Dropbox, where all those files are stored as well. This has been something amazing for me because I am a communications director. And so Dropbox Spaces and Dropbox Teams has really come in very handy for us. It's where we keep our files that we need to source, and where we collaborate to actually have the discussion about what the project is. This really does a great job of keeping everything together. And it makes for a one-stop shop. We're not having to go from Basecamp to Dropbox to Slack to things like that. We can just operate just in Dropbox. So that is where Dropbox is right now. And now let's talk about what the issues are surrounding Dropbox and a little bit of what could be a detrimental situation for Dropbox. So if you look at Dropbox on Google Trends, as a stock investor, this is usually where I like to see whether or not a company is gaining steam or losing steam. And with Dropbox, you'll see that since about 2014, they have been going downhill. And even in 2020, I look back to see, if they were actually gaining steam, because it was the advent of the, work from home economy. It seemed like this is a place where Dropbox really thrive, especially with all of the new stuff that they've been putting out. But yet again, they are on a steady decline as far as people looking for Dropbox and things like that. And it's just one of those things where it's really not a place where a lot of new users are going. Like, if you're a new person looking to start an online workspace or things like that, you're likely going to go to Google, you're likely going to go to other places before you go to Dropbox, because the Dropbox is eventually going to be a pay-to-play platform and things like that. So this is the state of where Dropbox is. It's going down as far as people who are looking for it. The the people who are on there have kind of stagnated, and it's just not really a place that people are seeking out to have as their online workspace. So, why does it make sense, or why would you even think about investing in a stock like that if the company is going down overall as far as popularity and they aren't really going anywhere? Well, they are doing a few things right, and they have about 28% of the online storage facility infrastructure. Dropbox is, still a major player. They have over a quarter of the online available online space. Sorry, I'm going to reference my notes a little bit here. This might be a little taboo, but we're going to do it. And the fact that they have constantly growing revenue. This is something very impressive for Dropbox, especially given the fact that they don't really have that many new people coming in. You've seen, if you followed their reports, you'll see that they have around 600 million active users for the last year or two. That really, it hasn't changed to 601, 602, 603 million. It's just been at 600 million for the last year or so, which is not a great sign for Dropbox, but they have increasing revenue, and that's a little weird because you would think, hold on, they don't really have many people coming in as far as new users, but they're increasing the revenue. Why is this? Well, they're having more people pay on their platform. More people are converting from paying users or from free users to paying users. And how Dropbox distinguishes this is mostly because of Dropbox Team or Dropbox Spaces, and because you only have a certain amount of free storage space before Dropbox forces you to have a paid account to use their platform and to continue to have the storage like over 2 terabytes on their platform. And so this is a great selling point because number one, Dropbox is a very sticky company. Now, whenever I say Dropbox is a sticky company, that means that whenever you get into Dropbox in the beginning, you're likely not going to go somewhere else because Dropbox makes things very easy. And Dropbox is one of the online places where you store your files, and it makes it very hard it is very hard to shift all of the stuff that you put on Dropbox to another platform like Google Drive or things like that. And so that is why Dropbox becomes sticky, because you are you're using Dropbox, and it's just difficult and a headache to take everything you have in Dropbox and move it somewhere else. Also, Dropbox is doing really well because they have a monthly recurring revenue. This is something that a lot of companies want to have. They have guaranteed cash flow coming in every month because of these users, and the stickiness definitely plays into that because you have customers who aren't really willing to go anywhere, and they're also paying monthly for your service. And it's small business friendly, and a lot of small businesses needed something that was going to support them during this pandemic. And so Dropbox has been that company that's been great for small businesses to help them through and to get them to a position to create or have a workspace that is actually profitable for them to have for their teams and things like that. So it has really been a great thing for Dropbox to have the spaces and have the file storage for these people. So now let's talk about the one thing that is really keeping me invested in Dropbox and why I feel that this company is going to skyrocket in the future, or potentially could skyrocket in the future. And this one thing that we referenced earlier is file sizes. Being in the communications department or communications director, I know that there have been drastic changes in file sizes over the decades. If you look at whenever floppy disk came out, whenever I was in like kindergarten, I think it was Bill Gates who said that we would never be able to fill everything that is on a 2 gig floppy disk, or maybe it was 2 megabyte floppy disk. Now we have flash drives that are 2 terabytes that probably don't hold that much information. So, and let's look at the fact that we're watching this on a video. I have to do a lot with video and audio production and things like that. And we manage these files, and these files just keep getting bigger. The higher resolution you have, the bigger the file size needs to be. The better the image, the bigger the file size needs to be. The better the audio, the bigger the file size needs to be. So Dropbox is uniquely positioned in a place where they start their people out in a free account, and you don't pay for anything, but you have a limited amount of storage. And then once you exceed that, you have to pay. So the natural course of how things are going right now is pushing people to where they're going to have to pay for Dropbox eventually if they want to use this service at all. And like we said earlier, they have a very sticky product where you have all of your stuff in Dropbox. if it comes to the point where you have to pay for it, people are most likely to pay for Dropbox than they are to take everything out of Dropbox and move it somewhere else just to keep the free aspect of it. So this is a great thing for Dropbox, and it's really going to be something that is going to push them into major cash flow areas in the future. Now, how do I know this? Because Dropbox is telling us with their investor presentations. If you look at the investor presentation from Q1 of 2020 to the latest Q3 financial report of Dropbox, you'll see that everything about Dropbox is the same except for their paid users. Their users is the same, 600 million. Their amount or the storage or items stored on Dropbox, I think is like 500 billion. But their paid memberships is the only thing that changes from Q1 2020 to Q3 2020. You would think that at least if we're going from a year of people being in this pandemic mode, that the active users would go up. It would go up from 600 million to maybe 650 million or something like that. But no, we see that Dropbox is unfortunately stagnated as far as that, the new, active users on there, but their paid members are going up. And this is where Dropbox has tremendous opportunity to keep growing. Because from Q1 to Q3, they went up almost 1 million paid users. 1 million people paying per month guaranteed cash flow for Dropbox in the future. This is a great thing for Dropbox, and they've proven over and over that they're going to keep increasing revenues, and they're going to grow their top line revenue, which is going to create tremendous cash flow for the company, which is going to hopefully push up their stock price. But there's a little bit more that we need to talk about as far as Dropbox's opportunities going forward and whether or not they're going to stage a major comeback in the future. Because Dropbox is one of those plays in 2021 to 2030 that is in a great opportunity for a massive comeback because they've added things like Dropbox Teams, HelloSign, and stuff like that, and they're making moves to really shake up the space and put themselves out there to maybe be a little bit ahead of Google Drive and the Slack opportunities and things like that because they've integrated themselves with companies like Adobe and the social medias to make everything flow much easier. So Dropbox is putting themselves in a situation where they are going to attract new people, hopefully, to come in and drive that free user area. And like we've talked about before, as they grow the free user area and the progression of technology continues as it normally does, it is going to push people into the paid user area because the files are just going to get too big at a certain point to justify or to have them on the free platform. So the natural progression is going to push them into the paid technology. It is a beautiful situation. However, it's not guaranteed, and that is why Dropbox is a little bit speculative right now for me. I'm going to keep purchasing Dropbox as long as it's under $20, but moving into the future, I am very convinced that Dropbox is going to do amazing things and they're going to have insane cash flow. But this does not translate to an amazing stock price, unfortunately, because Dropbox is one of those companies that it can just produce amazing results. It can have amazing cash flow, and Wall Street just won't recognize it. So the stock price might not go up that much. However, Dropbox is undoubtedly going to be taking in amazing amounts of cash flow. And what is one way that companies benefit their shareholders when they have amazing cash flow and their stock price doesn't go up? Dividends. Now, I'm not a huge dividend investor, but I can see the writing on the wall that Dropbox, if it continues on this course, is going to be an amazing dividend stock, even if it doesn't go up in price at all, because it's going to have insane cash flows that are going to be coming into this company. So that is my perspective on Dropbox right now and where I see this company going. I'm very excited about it. I'm very hopeful, and I just can't wait to see what happens, whether it's a huge growth stock with the company doing stock buyback or the company choosing to do amazing dividends. I feel like Dropbox is going to be a great winner long term if you choose to buy and hold. So anyway, that's my perspective. I hope you guys are having a great day. And remember, someone is going to do something amazing every day. Why not you? See ya.